This is the audio for a post on the Movements in America Substack. Check out the website at movementsinamerica.substack.com. Link is in the description. Can't multiply disciples because you don't have a strong social network? Then make a new one. In my first post, I discussed what I see as the #1 obstacle to disciple-making and church planting movements in America: social isolation. You can check out the full post for more details, but here's the short version. In movements around the world, the gospel spreads along relational lines. However, since relational connections are fragmented in America, this foundational element is missing, making it hard to spark and sustain a movement. Today, I want to share another way to overcome this obstacle. Create a new community using events with intent. Hip Hop Hope. When I first moved to Houston as a full-time missionary after college, events weren't even on my radar as a disciple-making strategy. In fact, I encountered a ministry that was using events to multiply disciples, and I dismissed their approach, thinking they clearly didn't understand how to do it right. That ministry, Eyes on Me, sought to reach at-risk youth in Houston. One of their key strategies was an outreach called Hip Hop Hope. Christian rappers would perform at apartment complexes, drawing a crowd with their music. Volunteers played games with kids. The artists shared their testimonies in the gospel, and they invited people to commit their lives to Jesus. But here's the key. They didn't stop there. The ministry followed up with youth and families, starting discovery Bible studies and even planting churches within the apartment complexes. Urban missionaries moved into the neighborhoods to nurture these new believers and build lasting discipleship relationships. At the time I rolled my eyes, I thought, why go to all this trouble? All you need to do is pray for people, share the gospel, and start churches in their homes. My team and I stuck to that method, and at first it seemed to work. But as time went on, our efforts fizzled while theirs thrived. Eventually, I began to see what I had missed. The strength of Hip Hop Hope wasn't just in its outreach, but in its ability to create new communities in places where relationships were otherwise fragmented. It wasn't just about events. It was about events with intent. Make events fit into a movement strategy. Here's the thing. The American church is actually pretty good at events. We host outreach programs all the time for all sorts of purposes. But here's the issue. The events themselves often become the end goal, with little follow-up beyond a generic invitation to attend church on Sunday. For events to help spark a disciple-making movement, there needs to be a shift in strategy. Events should serve as a springboard into discipleship and church planting. To help events achieve this goal, I've identified 3 key elements that make them effective. 1. Frequent. Events should happen regularly to build momentum. A one-time outreach rarely changes much. 2. Intentional. Every event must have a clear purpose tied to disciple-making with a concrete plan for personal follow-up. 3. Targeted. Events should be relevant to the specific context and needs of the people you're reaching. Together, these elements form the acronym FIT. Here's how Hip Hop Hope fits into this strategy. Frequent. Events were held every 1 to 2 weeks in apartment complexes or neighborhoods until a discovery Bible study or church took root in a home. Intentional. Eyes on Me placed missionaries in those communities who built ongoing relationships and discipled people after the events. Targeted. Hip Hop Hope was culturally relevant, leveraging music and creativity to engage low-income neighborhoods effectively. What about you? If the Holy Spirit is stirring something in you as you read this, take time to think and pray about how you could use events with intent to create new communities. Reflect on how you and your team can ensure your efforts fit this strategic framework. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment on this post with any ideas you have for starting or improving events like this. I'm always looking to learn from others. And on another note, do you think FIT is a solid mnemonic device? I've experimented with a few, but I'm open to better suggestions if you've got them. Also, be sure to pick up my book, Movements in America, if you want to learn more about how God is multiplying disciples and churches around the United States.